Um, okay, so what is the purpose of time management? Can you guys give me some reasons why you'd want to manage your time better? What would happen to you if you don't manage time well in your life?
It's easy to get distracted and do other things that aren't as important.
Sure, that's one good one. How about you, Emmy?
It leaves time to do things that are outside of work as well. So I feel like if you manage your time well at work, you can have a life.
Yep, totally. Peyton, what do you think? Anything on top of that? I'm putting you on the spot. Or you better, Crystal, break in. Can you think of any other reasons? Okay, well, oh, Crystal just came off mute.
I think for me, it really is a distraction as well. Just making sure I'm getting things done, even if it's not the fun stuff.
Totally. No, those are great ideas. So one of the other things I wanted to mention, what about burning out? Can you see how you could totally burn out if you're not managing your time well? Spreading yourself too thin, you kind of mentioned that. Another one I have is losing touch of all the people in your life and losing touch of the flow you have with things going on in your life. And all of that would mean you lose stability in your career. So stability in a real estate career means even though we have a seasonal market, there's a flow to it. Let's say if you were at doing only resort sales, I'm going to say a small resort like Purgatory might be, I don't know how Vail is, but I'm assuming it's the same. Purgatory has a summer, and then it's the fall season, and then there's a really big winter season, and then there's mud season, and there's absolutely nobody coming up to the resort during the off seasons. But the mark, which is probably the opposite of Yvette's season, like the seasons there, because she's in a metro area, so you're going to have a lot more like ebb and flow, maybe from when kids are out of school or something like that. But what happens is that the top agents in those resorts have something that, oh, mud season just started. Oh, thank God, I can start sending out my postcards. Okay, mud season, second month, I have to start reaching out to people because if they want to get listed by this month, they have to be starting to talk to me by this month. So even though there's absolutely nothing going on, every single month has something that you have to do to stay in that flow. And if you have that stability, then you're always busy. Even if you're not selling a bunch of stuff in the off seasons, you are super busy all the time. And if you don't have that, what I see is the ups and downs. So somebody will be really, really busy and they have a bunch of under contracts and then they all close and they go, oh my God, Heather, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't have anything going on. What am I going to do? When am I getting my next paycheck? And then all of a sudden they start making their calls again that they haven't been making. And so they get busy again and they get a bunch of under contracts, and it's just constantly doing that in their lives, which is typical for the normal realtor. But what happens is then they don't reach their goals. They don't reach their personal goals. So you see a lot of people struggling with weight in our community. You have people that struggle with drinking too much in our community, because these are all signs of you are just working and working and working, and you're stressed, and you have anxiety, and you're not taking care of yourself because you're constantly getting distracted by the next person that's trying to reach out and go show a property. So that sums up almost every complaint when I see people at the end of the year to plan on their goals for the next year. It's what could have been better about your year. They'll say, man, if I could just have better time management. So that's why I teach this class. So I wanted to kind of talk about that today and also do an introduction to Ninja, which I'm really into Ninja. Let me see if I can I want to remove my pin, and then I'm going to go back and pin myself again. Okay, so I'm really into Ninja, and I wanted to talk more about what that looks like. So I'm going to be sharing my screen a lot today, probably. And I'm going to be using words that they use in Ninja, but I'm going to explain it a little bit. The goals in time management of a realtor's life are to increase your PIE time. So PIE, P-I-E, P is you, yourself, and a contract. You are sitting with your client, putting a contract together. That's how we get paid. That's the only way we get paid, is if we have a contract in our hand and we're with the customer and we're closing something. The I is another thing you need to do. That's when you're showing property. That's when you're meeting with clients. You're talking about the comps. You're doing all the things that lead to doing an offer, right? So you have P is like uber important. That's how you get paid. You need the I time. in order to get the P time. And then E is E because it's everything else. So I don't remember what P stands for or I stands for, but E is everything else and all the things that we feel are emergencies and they aren't at all. So it increases your flow, it increases your ability to meet your goals and have a life. So none of you went to Ninja, right? I think none of you on this call have yet. You did, Emmy? Oh, okay, okay. So then it'll be a little bit of a review to you. So the first time you are doing time management really managing your time, it seems really awkward because you think, how I don't work that way. I have to have flow to my life. I can't have these like fits and starts of different things I need to do. But for the most part, it works really well. And then some days you just have to let it all go to hell because you have somebody that came in from out of town and they want you to stop what you're doing and go show them a bunch of homes and they write a contract and you just got to get away from your schedule for that day, but not for more than, a day at a time or anything. So for you to understand who I am so that I can explain how I set up my schedule, you have to know a little bit more about me. I am an early riser. I get up every morning. If I get the kids down on time, I get up at 5:15 because you get the best of me early. So I can go to later receptions later, like I can work late, I can write contracts when it's after hours, but I can't concentrate on things. I can't concentrate on projects or my goals or anything like that. Hard conversations are very difficult for me once it gets after hours. So since the best of me is early, I tend to make most of my planning sessions when I was selling to be early in the day. So you just have to understand who you are, and then you set up your system so that it works for you. And then when you get something that works and you kind of work around your schedule so that it works for who you are and who your customers are too. You can't be like, take the best of the day and say, oh, I'm going to make plans for, my work life. And of course, that's like the time when you should be calling people because they're on their way to work and it's the best time to reach them. So, within certain bounds, you just try to know thyself, and then you can handle the routine you're trying to put yourself on. When you get super busy, if you've practiced it when you're slow, then when you get super busy, things sort of fall into place, but it has to work for your metabolism and all those kind of things. So for planning, so I'm going to kind of go through, I have a few things here. First off, oh God, I can't see it. Zoom is funny this way. Okay, let me see if I can okay. This is my work week. I plan everything on Google, and this is what we're going to start filling up this week. I don't expect anybody to be obviously we work all weekend, but only when we have customers. We're not like trying to come into the office and practicing our scripts on the weekends. We want to have a life. But I'm going to schedule a bunch of stuff in this time, and it's, again, based on how I work, and I do this on Google Calendar because I can do color codes. I just love Google. I used to work off Outlook. It was very similar. I could just color code everything. I know there are other CRMs, and if you work well with them, that's great, but this is what worked for me. And then if you go on here to what like my actual life is, let's see if I can get mine on there. You can see I have like a whole bunch of other meetings and stuff that are set up, but we're going to pretend that I don't have my manager life, that I'm an agent. So I'm going to start off, this is very ninja. We're going to start off with having a time that you can sit with yourself and think about your goals. And I used to do it on Monday morning earlier than you need to be checking your email and getting on to your day. So I am going to now get forewarned off here. Let me see if I can get this up. Right. Hold on, wrong. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Okay, this is hard. Wrong. Where is it? Inbox. Here we go. Here's my work email. We have 2 scans here. This is what we're going to be going over, the Ninja weekly routine. So here's all the things I'm going to be talking about, and I can have it on the screen, but we're going to be filling up our calendar with these things. So the first thing that they talk about is having an hour weekly planning meeting with yourself. And I'm going to talk about what goes on that here. Got too much going on my screen. Okay. So some people like to plan before they go home on Friday evening. It's about an hour or 30 minutes or so. You really need to take about 30 minutes to go through your work week. Some people do it on Sunday. I know a lot of top agents that do it Sunday, like maybe Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. They kind of plan out their week because that's how they sleep. Like they know they're going to have a good night's sleep if they've thought about their day the next day and their week the next week. And they're not just cycling in their head like, oh my God, I got to do that. I got to do that. I got to do that. So they'll do it on Sunday just to give themselves peace of mind. I didn't like doing that. So I had to make sure I was one day a week coming in early and getting things knocked off. Now I might push it to like 7:30, but I found that I couldn't do it after 8:30 because I just had way too much going on my schedule. So let's just say it's that. So what do we do on our Monday morning meeting? I'm going to read it to you. Let me get this one on the screen. So Monday morning agenda, have it up here somewhere. Hold on, let's see what this is. Yeah, this is it. So this is what I go over. Any of these things that you find helpful, just let me know. This is what we used to do. We used to read mastery. So that means something, it could be a podcast on the way to work. It could be a book that you've really been, it's just driving you with real estate, setting your goals. I got good to great over here. I have entree leadership. I got 1 minute millionaire. I have more books over here than I know what to do with, but just starting your day the right way, just taking 5 minutes and read something about mastery that like really gets your head in the right space. Okay. And then you're going to review your business plan, your Ninja spreadsheet. So let me see if I can get that one on the screen and I'll just show you what that looks like. I didn't have that prepared. Manager. Okay, let me get that. Anyway, the Ninja spreadsheet is super cool. Let me see a blank one. Here's a blank one and I can show you what it is. Share screen. Okay, here's one that's not filled out. And if anybody wants to use this, this is just your hot list, your warm list, your under contracts, you're moving people over. These are the people you're trying to get to buy something. These are the people that are ready to buy. These are the people that are under contract, and then you move them over and it calculates how much of your goal you've closed. It's super cool. So you want to be looking at that once a week and, okay, how close am I? Oh, I can move this person over. They're ready to buy something. Oh, I got this one under contract, that sort of thing. And then reviewing your yearly goals, reviewing your monthly goals, your notes from your last meeting, the last week to see how you did. And then you're kind of planning out your week. So here's where you're kind of talking about what happened that week. Did I run my business like a business? How can I improve? What did I have? What's my aha? Like, oh my gosh, that worked. What was that? Who did I have a real estate review with last week? We could have a whole nother class on real estate reviews. Who's scheduled this week? How were my lunches, meaning dinners, lunches, coffees with breakfast with people? You want to do a couple of those like face-to-face with people. Who's scheduled this week? Did I make my 50 Ford calls? Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dream. 50 phone calls that you go past the, hey, we got an inspection tomorrow. How's the kid? So they had a soccer game last night. How'd it go? Did they win? Oh, that's cool. Well, he got a goal. That's pretty exciting. Like just something more than just the business that you're calling to talk to them about. And those are 50 contacts. And they can't be emails. They have to be like either face-to-face or phone calls. How many contacts did you add to your, what would you call it? How many contacts did you add to your database last week? That's what you're supposed to do. Did you write 10 personal notes? Personal notes are really important. Do you have any potential buyers or sellers last week? And when you're starting to do this, it's going to be no, zero, no. But believe me, as you keep getting into the habit of doing this, it's so much more exciting. You say, how many deals closed last week? You're going to have stuff to fill this up with. Did I take any new listings? Did I call every person under contract? That's your chance to go, oh my gosh, I didn't call so-and-so. And then buyers or sellers not under contract that need to be called this week. You're going to get those ideas from the things I'm going to be talking to you about. Let me see, is there anything else on there? And then you just take some time to go through your head on things you got to do. And so by looking at your notes from your last Monday morning meeting, you're going to get ideas from what you have to accomplish this week. So that's just that first hour. So it used to take me, even reading mastery, this would take me 30 minutes. That's it. And then I had another whole sheet that was like my to-do list and filling out my schedule. So this is what you're spending the rest of your 30 minutes doing. You're filling up your work week. Okay, I have this buyer coming in now. I got to do this. That actually takes 15 to 30 minutes to kind of plan out your week. But if you do it once, you're much better off. Okay. So that's your planning. And then the first thing I am going to tell you, the very first thing that you need on your schedule is working out. The first thing, put on there your time, and you should not be negotiable on that. So let's say one day a week, you're going to get up there early and go on a walk. And okay, I'm the person that loves to like color code. This was my code for my personal time. So I'm going to go on 1 run a week. And then on Tuesday, I want to make sure I get out right at 5:30 so that I could, no, 5, so I can get on the trails and do a bike ride. I want to make sure I get a couple bike rides every week. So here's one. And then this one, I know I'm going to do 1 more bike ride. And I got to have it on my schedule, because if it's not on your schedule, you're not going to do it. And then maybe I take one class. I like to take a yoga class. Maybe that's over here. Who knows? But then you're like, oh, Wednesday is such a busy day. Take a lunch and grab a client on River Trail. We have all these amazing places we live. Just go with Amy, okay? And even though that's works blue, I have color codes, but it's still, I'm working out. I'm actually like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. We could grab coffee, or do you just want to go on a walk? Like, I know you have a dog. Do you just want to go on a walk? That is a great way to connect with people, and you're actually getting exercise and not just sitting in the coffee house. So just make sure whatever it is that's important to you is on your schedule for working out before you do anything else on your schedule. Okay, so let's see. So what does your day look like? Your normal day? Actually, let's go back to the ninja list. Okay, where is it? It is this one. Okay, so we got the 1 hour weekly planning. We are reviewing our goals, schedule time to exercise, get to the office by 8 a.m. every day. I will tell you what happens if you don't get to the office by 8 a.m. every day is you're going to have, and okay, you drop off kids, that's fine, like come 8:15. But if you don't get to the office by 8 o'clock, or you sit down at your desk by 8 o'clock, you're going to have so many, oh, I just got to do this. Oh, I got to check my email. Oh, there's like 5 fires I got to put out. You will never get to the important things. Just have a moment to yourself before your day gets crazy that you can sit down and do those things. So one thing Ninja really believes in are those 2 real estate reviews for the week. Okay, so if you're scheduling a real estate review, I'll do a class on it. They take 10 minutes to put together. If you get good at it, it takes 10 minutes to put one together. But you can't just wake up Monday morning and call people and say, hey, you want to meet for lunch? I have a real estate review that I did for you, and I'd love to sit down. You got to do it the week before. So let's say the week before you already had one scheduled Zoom meeting with clients that they get off at 5 o'clock and they can meet you by 6. So you have one late night where you're going to do a real estate review with Jones. And you're going to do it here. And of course, I am a color coder, so that's what I do. So I'm going to do one here. And that was a late day, so I can like come in late one day. You know, like I just figure it out. If I'm working real late one day, I make sure that I make up for it somewhere else. And maybe I talk to someone else that I'm going out to a cup of coffee at 9 a.m. on Thursday for a real estate review. Coffee with Jamie, and then that's right here. So now here's another thing. That's how your real estate reviews fit in. Okay, so then you got that. So now we're going back here. Now we have so 2 hours for customer service calls. Call all sellers, under contract buyers, active buyers, and closed customers once a month for a year. And then we have 2 hours for other calls, birthdays, announcements, blah blah blah. So 10 thank you notes. Those were the things, and 2 lunches or breakfasts this week with a prospective real referral source, 2 1-hour sessions for paperwork cleanup with your assistant and escrow officer, 1 hour to review your customer lists and compare it with 16 reasons why people want to buy and sell real estate, visiting with 50 people this week live, your Ford questions, building your mailing list. And then it tells you, if you do this for every person that's in your database, you should be getting $1,000 every year. So if you have 200 people that you are working, you will get 200,000, 200 people, 200,000 a year. It doesn't mean all those people do anything, but some of them will refer you customers. So the way I did the rest of my schedule that worked well for me is Monday morning shot, because I'm already doing this. But when I left sales, I had like 40 listings. Okay, so I was working for a developer and he had a bunch of lots. So a lot of these were in the same subdivision, but it was for, let's say it was 25 different sellers and 40 listings. So I was trying to figure out like, and they were some of them were pretty unsellable. They weren't things that were flying off the shelves. This was like stuff that I had for a long time. So I really had to think about these and how to keep in touch with them. So I had all this stuff. And then you're trying to do your ninja and you're trying to do your scripts. So what I found worked really well for me is regardless of what this sheet says with the things you're supposed to do, I knew I needed to do scripts twice a week. Okay. So I would have, I did scripts twice a week for half an hour. And one of them might be with myself. And one of them might be with someone that I felt comfortable with that was at the same kind of speed I was, right? So I would just practice like how to say things. So I would have one might be just by myself practicing and one might be with somebody else. And the way I did it is I said, hey, so-and-so, like for me, it was Jared or this guy, Jerome Boulanger that used to work here. And I'd say, let's get together once a week and you have 15 minutes and I have 15 minutes of this time. And then you get to there and either maybe it's for sale by owners. You really struggle with talking to for sale by owners, or it's something else and you have to feel super comfortable, or you found scripts online and you want to see how it feels, ninja scripts, any kind of script. And don't like get freaked out about scripts. Scripts are anything that you say, like, hi, welcome to Coldwell Banker. How may I help you? That's a script. Anything is a script. So I used to practice because I would find that, let's say I was on the phone with somebody trying to give them information about a listing and they hung up before I got to the next step. And I go, God, how could I have done that better? So I wanted to practice on someone. So I would practice with them being the buyer or seller for 15 minutes. And okay, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, what did you think about that? Should I change the way I do this? And then they would have 15 minutes to try something on me. And it's once a week. It's not that big of a deal. And then I would do it by myself for 15 minutes, just reading. It was more like I'm not like talking to myself very much. I'm reading how to say certain things. And with Ninja, there's a lot of nuance to how you present things, your body language. So I want to just like have some time where I can just like think about these things and do it. So for me, that paired really well with Ninja. And one of the core things about Ninja is that it's not a book. So here's my book. This is not a book that you want to be on a shelf. So if you decide you like the way Ninja feels to you, you don't just go put your Ninja book on a shelf. There's so many ideas in there. There's so many things about buyer process and seller process and how to present at an open house and how to do this. So you want to sit down with that book a couple times a week. And it paired real well with this scripting, just doing it. So for 1 hour a week, that's all it was. And I would use that time to either kind of look at like, oh, maybe I should do that next. Oh, I should do a business plan. I should add this to my business plan. Do you know how these are like deep thoughts? These aren't like, oh, I got to run to the next listing. These are like, how should I do my mailer next time? Like, oh, what did Ninja say about this? It gives you time to just sit and go through the negotiation skills or something like that, right? So you have 1 hour, again, so you're doing your Monday morning meeting. You have your Ninja and your scripts twice a week. And then that's really pretty much it. So now you go back to this list. And what are the other? Oh, paperwork cleanup. Don't be me. Don't have piles of papers everywhere because I always have something more exciting to do than putting things away. Most of my piles are like, I wanted to read something because, oh, that article was interesting. Maybe my agents would like it. But you want to put things away. Don't be the person that has a closing and, oh, I got to run off to the next one. So you have these piles of like closed people who you just have to download the texts to store them, or you got to download the something to the file, or you just got to put that away. All the emails you want to file, all these things, you can easily get so overwhelmed and bogged down by those things that once a year you go, oh, I have no time for buyers or sellers. I got to do paperwork. So don't be that person. You need 1 hour a week to just sit down. And here on Ninja, it says have an assistant do it with you or an escrow officer. I don't know why the escrow officer would be helping you, but maybe that's for like somebody that has a lot of business. But I would do 45 minutes. I mean, that's all it really took. And I always liked Fridays because yes, you're running around like crazy, but it was my best way to go home and not think about real estate if I actually had a day off. So I would do, here's another thing about G calendar that I love. You can just slide it over if you didn't get it done, right? So let's say I'd like to do it Thursday, but I'm probably going to do it Friday. And so if a buyer calls you and you got to go run and do, you got an inspection somewhere, you got to just don't forget to do it. You can slide it over, but don't like put everything on Friday afternoon and then you're never going to get it done, right? So do it somewhere that you think you can do it. Mine, again, was just 45 minutes. I know they say an hour. And then just make sure once a week, you never want to get to the point where you have to spend, like I've seen Tina Miley back there, and she will spend an entire 2 days going through all her files to say, okay, I got to do settlement statements next month. So I got to get everybody in order so that I can send it out, or I got to look for people to call because who haven't sold in 2 years. So she's got to go back through all her files. Just do everything and put people away in the right thing, 45 minutes a week. And then if you do that, you're going to have a much happier life. You can stop me if you need anything. Okay, and now let's talk about the things like phone calls and notes. So here's how I did it. I was someone that hated making my phone calls. Anybody else hate making your phone calls? This is not people you talk to every day. These are the people you haven't talked to for a while. So my database, hold on. My database at the biggest was 375 people. And I was never a top agent, but I did real well off my 375 people. I kept it kind of a smaller list. And I didn't want anyone in my database that I wasn't comfortable reaching out to twice a year. That's it. Just call them twice a year. It wasn't a big deal. So Ninja will teach you, you have A list, B list, C list. These people that like will love you, know you, and trust you. I'm talking about the people that I haven't talked to in a year. I'm trying to fill up a list. Let me show you what this Ninja list is, the 50. I know this is just a lot of stuff for you today, but let's see. Here's the list I'm talking about. Page 1. This is your 50 forward calls you keep track of every week, and it's your note cards that you're talking to people about, or like you're sending to people. Contracts, what did you open and close? Who'd you send a referral to? So in order to fill up this thing, I had to call everyone on my list eventually. And so I was structured about the way to do it. But so how I would do it is I would take my whole list of people that I hadn't talked to in forever and ever. Hold on. And then let me get my calendar. And then it had to be the first thing I did in the morning, or I was not going to do it. Because if you don't come in and do the most, whatever it is to you that you don't like doing, do it first thing in the morning. It might be scripts. It might be working out. It could be any of these things. But for me, when I got to the office, I always got there by 8:30, and I did 2 half hours of phone calls. I did a lot of phone calls during the week, so I didn't need scheduled time. But I would do 2 times a week that when I did, let's see, and I'm going to do 2 half hours, and it can't be right before you have coffee with somebody because you always need breaks. You can't be like back to back. You'll never get it done. I would come in and I actually, no, that's not true. I don't think I did a whole half hour because I couldn't handle it. I did every single morning when I'd come in and I'd do 5 calls because I knew I'd make another 5 during the day, but I wanted to reach my 50. So I would make 5 calls right away to somebody I hadn't talked to in a while, and I would check on them. So I would send out, let's say the market report, it comes out 4 times a year. So you send out the market report and you have a reason to call them. So that reason will work for the next 6 weeks. You call them a week later, you call them 3 weeks later, it doesn't matter. You say, hey, I'm just checking with you. I sent you a little market review a couple of weeks ago and just wanted to see if you had any questions about real estate right now. And most people said, no, thanks. No, I don't have any questions right now. Or they'd say, hey, I did want to ask you, I need a plumber. Do you know any good plumbers? So it's just a reason to reach out to people. Like once I've had somebody be mean to me. Other than that, if for some reason they're weird to you, just get them off your list. Like just reach out to them a couple times a year. But that was one of my ways to reach out to people and talk to people. So again, I'm doing phone calls maybe every morning when I get in. And then was there anything else? So do you see once you get all of that in your schedule, how much time you actually have to do real estate? So this is like your perfect ninja week, and you still have all of this time on here. So my day, what it looked like to be a good ninja and to get my mind in the right mindset. Another thing that ninjas really believe, I would hop out of bed. I'm not one that hits the snooze button. I might hit it once, but that's about it. And then the first thought in your head, you want to be grateful. You want to think about something positive. Think of a few reasons that you feel really good about your day or about your life or about your family, whatever it is. And what Ninja says is to write those things down. You're writing down a couple affirmations like, I had a great day yesterday. I'm going to have another one today. So just 10 minutes to clear your head and get in a good way. You don't want to be like picking up the phone and looking at the news. Like, don't do that. Just 10 minutes, take it off. So purposely, what I would do in that first time is if I knew I was having a day when I wasn't getting to work out, oh, well, that day I was, maybe it's like Friday, I know I'm gonna have a long day, just jump out of bed and do some like jumping jacks or sit-ups or push-ups or something, do something to like get yourself motivated. And then you want to read something positive. So turn on, maybe you're getting ready for work and you turn on a podcast or you turn on something again, positive that you, maybe a good song. Maybe it's just a song that really makes you happy and you want to get that on the way to work so you feel good. And when they talk about reading mastery, this could just be a couple paragraphs from a success book. It doesn't have to take very long. And then what they tell you to do is when you get to work, so whatever time that is you get to work. So I was telling you, I liked to make my phone calls then. Other people like, well, what Ninja tells you is to write your note cards then. So always have an idea. I would have on my schedule, sorry, I'm going and sharing again after I just turned it off. I would have, so this is how I fill out my time management. When I close on somebody, I go 1 year in arrears, whatever you say, like one more year in advance. And let's say I closed on someone on the 18th of last year, I would have a tickler on my calendar that said 1 year anniversary herb, like, you know, and then I'd make it red because red means you actually have to get it done. Like you can't make it the next day. It has to be that day, right? So this kind of tickler would be hanging out there for a full year. And then when I finish the card, I'd do this. I'd make it 2 years and then I move it to the next year, right? So then you'll never have to look up when somebody's anniversary is, and you will always have it on your schedule. And the beauty of this is it's a reason to make a phone call. It's a reason to have a card. There are really cute cards out there with home anniversaries. If you want an example and you're in Durango, I can show you what I have. But the beauty of this is you have one here because you had one closing because you're a new agent. Within a year, you're going to have a few and it will keep piling up until you actually have a bunch of note cards every week that you can send out to people. So that's an idea for a note card. If you need other ideas, Facebook stock, people's kids have good report cards. You can send the kid a cute card. Anything like that works. Somebody's, you notice they had an anniversary or anything. Facebook stalking works really well for note cards, or just someone that you saw that you haven't seen in a while and you say, hey, we should get a cup of coffee soon. Or I was just thinking about you. Remember that crazy wallpaper on that house that that we saw when you were showing property with me years ago? That popped into my mind. So just to have a reason to pick that up. But do it before you kind of get started with things. So what flow is, okay, so this phone call idea, got so many ideas. So flow is a Ninja thing. And what they will do is they'll call it like, take a couple hours a week for your flow calls. And that includes, that's kind of like your phone calls, right? So flow is, let me read this. Phone calls, notes, email campaigns, reviewing your A, B, and C list. So I would actually pull out all my contacts and just look at them once a week or twice a week. You're like, okay, I haven't talked to that person in a long time. I should give that person a call. So if things are in front of you, you'll remember. So however you like to organize things, if you just have a way that a couple times a week you can sit, again, half of it might be phone calls and half of it is looking at your list. So A, B, C list means the people know, love, and trust you. And then B list would be the people that, and you organize your database this way. I can teach everybody how, but B would be people that, they'll use you, but they're not going to give you a referral. And C are like, you'd like them to use you, but you're not really sure if they're going to or not. Okay. So you're reviewing your list because that's the way things pop to mind is, oh, I haven't talked to that person. Oh my God, that person lives in Durango West. I saw a house that just came up there. I should send it to them. So that's why you look at lists. You look at them to kind of get ideas, right? And then it says you review your hot list. Hot list means this thing I was showing you. So you're looking at your warm list, you're looking at your hot list, and you're going, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to that person in a while. So you're remembering all of your buyers and sellers in one place. So nobody is going to get dropped. And then that is also your way to get to your 50 people that you're supposed to reach out to every week. So Ninja, for your Ninja time, I think I went over this. It's picking up your folder and reading, it's planning new things, it's focusing on what you want to do. And then here's how I handled it with buyers and sellers. So when you get to a place that you have a lot of people in your database, I kept track of it by every buyer had a little tickler here. So I'm going to do Smith, I'm going to do, and then I would do Okay, so I met Smith and again, these are all other classes, but let's say I met Smith, they're ready to buy. They want to buy something now and I'm just waiting for them to find something, okay? I have this other guy that's Ford, and he's not ready to buy. He said he'd buy sometime in the next 6 months, a year, but he's not ready yet. So I'm not going to reach out to him every week. It's like every other week. I don't want to be kind of weird and calling him too many times, but this one, like Smith, they actually need to talk to me. So I have these all set up. Each person has a little tickler so that I remember each person. I don't ever want to forget. So yeah, you got lists, you got this, but what day did I talk to him? It's like too much, right? So just Roger. And then that's another hot buyer. So then this was a way, so each person has a list and then each seller had a list, okay? So again, I have Smith's also buying a house. Well, then let's say it's a different person. So I'm running out of last names. Okay, I'm just gonna go with my childhood friends. Okay, let's say Bergie. And I had them color coded. So I had like buyers were all one color, sellers were all another color, or whatever you want to do. But I had all my sellers were on Tuesdays. This is how I organized it. This worked for me when I had 40 listings. It worked for me. I had all my sellers on this day and all of my buyers on Monday because they all wanted to hear from me kind of early in the week. And I could kind of forget about it the rest of the week and move on to the people who I have to go show property to. So I had buyer Monday and seller Tuesday. It doesn't mean you're not going to talk to people other days. It just meant that this was the way I did it. And for each buyer and seller, it usually took me only like 10 minutes to kind of look through and update them and send them an email. So I could knock out 4 in an hour. So I had 4 right here of buyers. And then same with sellers. Sometimes if you have a lot of listings, you might even get 2 sellers in the same subdivision. And that's a really easy update because you can update each person with what's going on. So how do you keep track of like all these buyers and the MLS numbers? Like, let's say you see something in the MLS that looks like it suits that person, but you don't want to bug them every time you see it. Some people, you can set them up on those auto ones. So, if something comes up in the MLS, it sends it right to them. But also you don't want to like spam people. It might be too much. So I'd actually, if I don't need to send things to this guy very often, I'm going to actually write down the MLS numbers when I see them in the MLS right on this thing. And so then when it was time to update them, I just pull this up, copy this, put it into the MLS, put it into the search bar and send it right out to them and say, hey, I saw these last 2, this one had a price reduction and this one is a new listing. They came up in the last couple of weeks. Let me know if you have questions. I look forward to seeing you. I know it's not going to be for a couple months now, but we're getting a little closer, that kind of thing. So that's how I set up my world. And for the most part, it worked really well. I would try to knock these off kind of quickly in the morning and get them out of the way, all my buyers, all my sellers. And then let's say like you happen to talk to Roger over here, or, you move it around. Like if you just talk to someone, just move their thing to a different time so that you're only keeping up with people once a week, once every couple of weeks. You're not like driving yourself crazy with all these things. But this is the way you're not going to drop the ball with all your sellers, all your buyers, and know that all of a sudden you haven't talked to a seller in like 3 months, because that happens to everyone. So you better put it on there. And I made sure that every seller at least heard from me every other week. Why every other week? Every week for residential and every other week for like that lot that's never going to sell, that's all the way at the top of the mountain. I still made sure that every other week they were hearing something from me. And it's really hard after a while that the place hasn't sold. You're just like, what am I going to tell this person? But whatever works for you, I just didn't want a Friday email because then they're bugging me all weekend. I thought do it early in the week. That way you're sitting at your desk and you kind of help them with anything you need on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then you have the rest of the time in your day to be able to deal with the things that come up, like I got to go spend the whole afternoon this afternoon doing an inspection with somebody. That's okay. There's tons of times there, as long as I can get back to do my real estate review. How about, Tuesday goes to heck because I have, again, an inspection, or I got like some resolution, or my seller has a flood at his house and I got to go find out stuff like that. Just move this stuff later. Like it's no big deal. But at least with this kind of thing, you're going to be able to accomplish it because it's all written in. So you can always move them around. Make sure you have breaks in between. Nobody works 24/7 that you can like sit at your desk and get this stuff done for hours at a time. So I always made sure that like I would have it planned out that I had a good break. I could walk and get a cup of coffee, or you just need to clear your head, those kind of things. So you're never going to do back to back, like, okay, I'm walking with Emmy. I can meet this person for coffee right here, and I'll meet this person for coffee right here. Like, that's not how people work. So you got to make sure you have flex time in there because things come up that you have to deal with. But I will warn you, one of the ways you can put off emergencies a little bit, you know, the emergencies that aren't emergencies, oh my God, I need this right now, is by just don't let it be the first thing you do. Don't go to your email and get sucked in right away when you get to the office. What I would do as a sales agent is when I woke up, I'd get ready for work, I'd check my email real quick and see if anything had happened the night before. And of course, there's like 3 different emergencies. People think, I need this right away. I got to set up the showing right away. I text them and say, hey, got your email. I'll be in touch later this morning. That's it. And now you don't have to go get sucked into the vortex for a couple of hours, right? If you have to make a quick call to set something up, that's fine, but just don't let it get away from, it's okay to just glance at it before you sit down, because you don't want to be like, oh, it's 7:30. I'm here for my Monday morning meeting. Let me just see what happened the night before. And then, I got to make all these calls. And then by the time you know it, it's 10 o'clock and you never got around to it. So it's okay to like check it real early, get back to people. It's cool. I'll get back to you and you can hear from me, and that is going to work. So make sure you don't overload yourself. And if you do this, you will be a top agent. There is no way you will not be a top agent if you keep to this. If you actually make your 50 phone calls every week and you actually meet with people and you go on your real estate reviews and you're in front of different people and you have a database that's, you know, at least 200 people, you will be a top agent. You just have to work your list. And working your list isn't, hey, you want to buy a house? It's just being nice to people. It's just talking to people and trying to help them with something. I went by your house the other day and I noticed the truck, hoping everything's okay. It looked like an electrical truck. Didn't mean to be nosy. Just wanted to see if you needed any help. Anything, just try to help people. It's not trying to sell people or like, it might be that, hey, I heard this thing in the market the other day and it made me think of you because remember how that happened to you a little while ago. And I never asked people for referrals. I never asked people for, I might ask them for a testimonial, but that was as far as I got. I never said, hey, do you know anybody buying and selling? That's not me. That's not who I am. I just want to help people. And by helping people, they will refer plenty of business to me. And I never had a trouble getting that done. Is there anything else in it? Oh, another thing that Ninja said that really is true. You want to try your hardest to work on your business in the morning. If you remember nothing else from this phone call, Zoom call, on your business in the morning, in your business in the afternoon, okay? So on your business are all the scripts, the ninjas. It's not really the buyer trying to get in touch with your buyers. Those are the vortex things. So you move those maybe for like right afternoon, right? So, and so are the real estate reviews would be more like that. So as much as you can, trying to make all the things you have to do, like getting in touch with customers in the afternoon and have that time to work on the business that you have, meaning pushing yourself forward, designing your postcards, making sure your next farmer is out, making sure you've made your phone calls. That's on your business. You're trying to build more business, right? And then let all the sucking into the vortex happen after lunch. Then you will also be able to push yourself forward instead of just having the rat race that you're stuck in and you go, oh, I didn't make my calls today. It's like, you got to take time to do more than what's right in front of you that day. Here's 2 other things. Oh, let me explain this here. On your business is flow and I time. That's all the stuff that leads to the contracts. It's not the like paperwork stuff. It's more of the things that lead you to the contract. It would mean phone calls, things like that. And in your business, working in your business, like on your business is the afternoon stuff would be listing, selling, negotiating, and closing. It's all the P time. So here's 2 things to think about as we are kind of finishing up. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do something. I love that. And focus on activities and the production takes care of itself. Okay. So you focus on just doing the activities you're supposed to be doing, not concentrating on, oh, I have 1 buyer for the board. If you like that, that's fine. If you like the scoreboard idea, but you don't worry about not having something on the board. Just keep doing the activities and it will always work out. Here are two items that might be helpful to you to keep track of things. There is this one here. That's I know, Crystal, we talked about this. So here's the weekly flow sheet. And here's the other one. This is called a Ninja scorecard. And I never use this, but I know like Jared Nixon is one of our he is our top agent, and he loves this thing. This is what I review with him once a week. So you get a score. He loves like scores. So he gets a score of 100 if he does all these things. And he'll just say, did I call all my buyers who are under contract? So for him, this is what inspires him. Like this one inspires me because I want to get to 50. Like I want to get to 50 and I want to be able to say that I had a closing or I opened an escrow, meaning like you opened you have a new under contract. What are the contracts I wrote? And then which ones went under contract? And then who did I do a review with? And did I get a referral? Those are cool too. Like if you sent a referral to someone, you're going to get free money. So this inspired me, but he uses this, but then he actually, he doesn't use this. He uses this other one and he just puts his people right here. He loves this because he actually gets like points for what he does. So writing out your affirmations, writing 2 personal notes a day. So we become what we do repeatedly. Excellence is not an act, it's a habit. So if those are helpful to you, I can totally share them. And then this one too. What was the one? So the scan one, was this it? Nope, that wasn't it. Sorry, same one. Oh boy. Here's the one about the different things you could do. It's not just the people you know, it's the people they know. Leverage your magic 50 with referrals. And I do have a reason of 16 reasons these people probably want to buy or sell real estate. It's you know, the normal stuff. I don't have it in front of me, but like you hear somebody's having a divorce or they somebody just went off to college for the first time and they're an empty nester, those sort of things that you would just be listening for and knowing that they might need you in their life. So does anybody have any questions? Our big group came to a smaller group.